السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله. أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله. حي على الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله. الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلله فلا هادي له. ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له. ونشهد أن سيدنا ومولانا وحبيبنا وشفيعنا وعزيزنا وكريمنا ورحيمنا ونبينا وسندنا محمد رسول الله صلى الله تعالى عليه وعلى آله وأصحابه وأتباعه وأزواجه وأنصاره وعلينا معهم. أما بعد، فقد قال الله تعالى عز وجل في القرآن المجيد بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم: يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وكونوا مع الصادقين. وقال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم: اتقوا الله حيثما كنت. Honorable elders, respected scholars, beloved brothers and sisters, one of the most struggling things that we have with our families and our children and the progeny moving forward is understanding why the deen is important and why listening to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is important. For the earlier generation, it comes second nature. It is a very byproduct of ishqur Rasul or hubbun Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, love of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, love of the deen. And in that commonality and in that concept, when that is adapted and understood, then any single individual by second nature can automatically listen and obey. The question doesn't arise why, it just becomes second nature. I love Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. لا يؤمن أحدكم حتى أكون أحب إليه من والده وولده والناس أجمعين وفي رواية من ولده ووالده والناس أجمعين. That a person cannot believe until I do not become the most beloved thing or the object beyond all of humanity to them. And this becomes a struggling concept, that how could the Prophet of Allah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam be so beloved to us? And in an era as today is a unique day in the capitalistic culture, where every person today is the day of expressing their love and expressing their muhabba. So if a person goes for 365 days or 364 days and they treat the person very well and they're affectionate, but today they forget, then you don't love me. But if the other days they're very bad and they harm each other's emotions, but today they buy a box of chocolates, and he loves me, she loves me, because today, they took care of me. But the nature of this type of love that we are investing in is a transitory love, especially the one that is not permissible. It comes today, how many Valentine's days or how many days like these have gone by, where somebody else was your Valentine. And then the next day someone else became. So one youngster, a few days ago, a few months ago, this person, they were my world. A few months before that, there was someone else. That was my world. A few months ago, that was my world. It's like they're building a universe. And every single person, it's my world, it's my world. Now, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has kept these transitory. But the true constant in our life is the love that we bear for Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Now, one thing that we have to translate to our children is not just simply tell them love the Prophet, but why do we love the Prophet? One of the greatest questions here, philosophically, is why? Why do we do what we do? And just giving the answer that no, because we're Muslim, is not a satisfactory answer. And neither is that the answer that is enveloped in individuals and will be absorbed by them due to the limitation of time. There are 6 common reasons that any individual or any human is loved for. And all of those 6 reasons can be found in the life of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. If you're able to absorb those 6 things today and be able to replicate them to your progeny, your children, your grandchildren, your family, or even to your own hearts, then inshallah you will find a stronger emotion and connection to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and the one you pass this message on to will also begin to understand what it means to truly love Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So let's begin with the first thing that commonly any individual falls into love when they see a person, especially a younger person. It is jamal, it is beauty. When a person sees someone attractive, Instagram, this or that, and automatically they fall in love with that person. They see some individual who looks at certain features. Oh, I love this person. You know nothing about them, but no, I love them. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Allah says, وَإِنَّكَ لَعَلَىٰ خُلُقٍ عَظِيمٍ. Oh, you, not only your outside was beautiful, even the inside was beautiful. How many people can put makeup outside, but they can't make up the inside? How many people outside, they have the most beautiful and the best health and the most attractive features, but their inside is corrupted and their inside is broken. Allah subhanahu Hassan bin Thabit radiyallahu anhu, when he described Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he says, وَأَحْسَنَ مِنْكَ لَمْ تَرَ قَطُّ عَيْنِي وَأَجْمَلَ مِنْكَ لَمْ تَلِدِ النِّسَاءُ خُلِقْتَ مُبَرَّأً مِنْ كُلِّ عَيْبٍ كَأَنَّكَ قَدْ خُلِقْتَ كَمَا تَشَاءُ. He says, the people, if you want to know the beauty of Muhammad, I'm unable to truly vocalize it, but all I can say, وَأَحْسَنَ مِنْكَ, more beautiful in character. Generally the difference, he uses the word ahsana in the first line of poem and ajmala in the next line of poem. So why use the same type of words 2 times? So generally one of the interpretations could be that the first line, he's not even talking about the physical beauty, but he delves right into the personal beauty of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the akhlaq of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. ما رأيت أحسن من النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قط وليس قبله وليس بعده. I've never seen a person more beautiful in character than this man, neither before, neither after him. The riwayah is in Nasa'i. A Bedouin walks in, a person who has no understanding. Just to you and I, it's a youngster who doesn't really come to the masjid, doesn't know what's going on, the dress code isn't appropriate, their approach isn't appropriate. They walk inside, he doesn't know, the Bedouin doesn't know, it's the masjid. She's a Bedouin, he's from the village, he's never been in the city area. You know when people come from back home and they look at the computer or they look at the iPad and they're figuring out, what is this thing, how does this thing work? Bedouin comes, he looks around, he needs to relieve himself, he needs to use the bathroom, the call of nature. And back in the day, you used to use it outside and you were civilized. And if you used it inside, you were uncivilized. Today, if you use it outside, you're uncivilized. And if you use it inside, you're civilized. How times change. So then the man walks in, sees one of the corners empty, and he goes and he relieves himself. While he's this is the masjid of Rasulullah. This is the masjid of Rasulullah. مَا بَيْنَ بَيْتِي وَمِنْبَرِ رَوْضَةٌ مِّنْ رِيَاضِ الْجَنَّةِ. The area between my minbar and my home is a garden from the gardens of Jannah. I mean, this wasn't a normal place. And the man is relieving himself in the Sahaba. Imagine, you saw someone doing some vandalism, spray painting the wall, writing on the wall with a pen. How would you erupt in anger? This man was defiling the masjid of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So the Sahaba got up, arms up, sleeves rolled, ready to pounce on the person. And the Nabi of Allah ran, got in front of him, pulled his rida, covered that individual, let that individual complete. And once the person was complete, the Prophet stopped the Sahaba, ordered that it be cleaned. Then he goes to the individual, he says, this is our masjid. We don't do these type of things here. We remember Allah here. ما رأيت معلما مثله قبله ولا بعده. I've never seen a man like him who can teach and make someone realize their mistake, neither before him and neither after him. That was the inner beauty, because that's more important. Then he says, وَأَجْمَلَ مِنْكَ لَمْ تَلِدِ النِّسَاءُ. No woman could give birth to a child more beautiful than you. Humanity has failed to produce and equal in beauty to you. The man was perfect in equilibrium. He had a moderate height. But when he stood next to two tall people, Imam Tirmidhi rahimahullah writes in Shama'il, his height seemed bigger. When you saw him, perfect equilibrium, eyes black as night, and the whiteness, white as milk. Hands had strength in them, filled with flesh. Shoulders protruding, built body. Hair, just shabra, just one line in the center, that's it. And his approach of walking and talking, it wasn't that he was arrogant, he had a fast-paced walk. He spoke in a crackling voice. The Rasul of Allah, he had a crackle in his voice. And he goes on. And this is the physical beauty. One time, one of the evening, Jabir radiallahu anhu was sitting down. And he said, I looked at the Prophet and I looked at the full moon and I thought to myself, when you see the full moon at its brightest, you have a lot of pollution here, but you can still admire the full moon. You can still admire it on the 14th night. So he says, when I saw the full moon and its beauty, and I thought to myself, the Prophet was wearing a red shirt, a red cloth. And I looked at him and I said, who's more beautiful, the Prophet of Allah or the moon? The Prophet of Allah, the moon. Then I realized to myself, no, the Prophet is more beautiful. Mawlana Qasim Nanusi rahimahullah gives a poem on this response. And he says, Chand se bhi tashbih dena, ye bhi kya insaf hai. Chand se bhi tashbih dena, ye bhi kya insaf hai. Uske chehre pe daag hai, inka chehra saaf hai. How can you put the moon and the Prophet in one sentence? The moon has craters and blemishes on it, while the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, وَأَجْمَلَ مِنْكَ لَمْ تَلِدِ النِّسَاءُ خُلِقْتَ مُبَرَّأً مِنْ كُلِّ عَيْبٍ. He had no blemishes on him. This is the outer beauty of the individual. Okay, that's number one, Jamal, right? Number two, when it came to mal, when someone is wealthy or rich, you automatically start gravitating towards them. Whether that person is the stingiest person in the world, you won't get a single dollar from them, but you like going to them. We like being in their company, going to their home. I mean, like flexing, taking a picture, video, or say, oh gee, we know this person. Oh gee, our contact is this person. We know this diplomat or this minister, or we know this politician. And we'll take happy pictures with them as if we know them since the day they were born. But we've only met them one time for 20 seconds at a dinner or at a lunch. But we boast because now we see this person who has wealth or who has this influence, and automatically we want to gravitate towards them. Mal. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was an individual. He would be on his conveyance, and he'd have a person next to him, and there was a valley full. Now, what do you know about sheep and cows? We don't know these things, right? Imagine someone had an entire truck full of merchandise, and he goes and he says, "Do you like this? Yeah, it's yours. What? Yeah, you want it? It's all yours." He would give hundreds and hundreds of sheep. What in equivalent to in our discussion, it's like a person seeing an entire truck full of merchandise and it's yours. تعود غص الكف حتى لو أنه صناها لقبض لم تطعه أنامله تراه إذا ما جئته متهللا كأنك الذي تعطيه أنت سائله هو البحر من أي نواحيه أتيته فلجته المعروف والجود ساحله ولو لم يكن في كفه غير روحه لجاد بها فليتق الله سائله. The poet encompasses the beauty of the Prophet of Allah. The poem is long, the discussion is longer. I will just take one point of the poem. تراه إذا ما جئته متهللا كأنك الذي تعطيه أنت سائله. He says, when you went to the Prophet, we all are givers, right? When we give, we have a certain demeanor to ourselves, and there is a certain increase that happens in most of us, and hopefully not all of us, where you feel that I'm giving something, and the other person sometimes can even feel it. I did this for you, and we did this, and there was a certain way of writing the check and a certain way of presenting it, and that is why from the 7 people that will be under the throne of Allah is the one who gives, and his right hand doesn't know what his left hand doesn't know what his right hand is giving. Why? It's because even in giving, you shouldn't impress or make the person in front of you feel like they're being given. The Prophet of Allah is described as when you went to him to give him, to take something from him, he's giving you something. It was as if you're the one giving it to him. That's how happy he would be in giving it. The Prophet of Allah, his happiness and exuberance in giving was as if he was receiving the very thing he is giving. It wasn't as if he's giving something away, but it was as if he was receiving it. That is how happy the Prophet of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam would be. And the narrations are full of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The day before passing away, we know when we're struggling, and we know when we get sick, the first thing we start thinking is our children, our family, my money, how much am I leaving behind? What are they going to do? The day before the Prophet of Allah is passing away, in his life, on earth still exists Sayyidatu Nisa'i Ahl al-Jannah. The Queen of Jannah still exists on earth, but the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam gives all of his wealth away right before passing away. Gives everything in sadaqah. Ask, how much is left? Few gold coins. Give it away. Give it away. Give it away. I don't need any of these things. He did not care for any of the materialistic nature. His generosity was unmatched and unparalleled. So you have Jamal, you have Mal. Number 3, Nawal. When a person shows you kindness, when a person is good to you, when a person looks out for you. ظلمت سنة من أحيا الظلام إن اشتكت قدماه الضر من ورمي. Alam Abu Sayyid rahimahullah says that whose sunnah have we abandoned? Whose lifestyle have we abandoned? We've abandoned the lifestyle of the individual. Before we were born, he was in sajda doing dua for us. Ya Allah, forgive my ummah. Forgive my ummah. Forgive my ummah. Today we're running after this celebrity and that celebrity, that if we were in the same room together, we wouldn't get more than 1 second from them. But the Nabi of Allah, before the creation of ours and our parents and their parents, is in sajda, doing dua. Allah forgive my ummah. Allah forgive my ummah. Allah forgive my ummah. Allahu Akbar. Allah, that's the sunnah now. Modern times. That's sunnah, yeah. The Sahaba did the sunnah because it was a sunnah. We leave the sunnah because it's a sunnah. The Sahaba heard something was a sunnah, they did it. We hear it's a sunnah, it's not farz, right? Not wajib, right? There was a difference in mentality. And the Prophet of Allah said, what is it? Shafa'ati li ahli kaba'ir min ummati. on the day of judgment, I will be waiting on the plains of Qiyamah. Where are the major sinners? So I can ask Allah to forgive them. Where are the major sinners? I mean, who's the one that thinks about the kid who doesn't listen to them at all? We have, most of you have children, because I see the crowd is predominantly elderly. We have children, we have family members. The one who listens to you automatically, generally becomes your most beloved. And as they say in our Hyderabadi, the Niklawa one, the one that's a little extra out, your affection diminishes from them. Unless they're the eldest or the youngest. Then we are also in our emotions kind of confused and muddled. But generally speaking, you're a teacher, you're a manager. And the employee that doesn't do any work, you fire them. You don't go pull them out of the fire. And that was Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. No one got fired from his ummah. But on the contrary, he was the one that said, Ya Allah, take them out of the fire. Go read about the man. See what he cares. Allah didn't just send him as a Nabi, as a legislator. He sent him as قُلْ إِن كُنْتُمْ تُحِبُّونَ اللَّهَ فَاتَّبِعُونِي يُحْبِبَكُمُ اللَّهُ. You want Allah's muhabba? This is my model. Follow this and you will have Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's muhabba. So you have Jamal, you have Mal, you have Nawal. Number 4, Kamal. Kamal is when someone shows a certain characteristic, or someone shows a certain talent. When a talented individual is there, automatically you begin to love that person. So you had the youngsters, Kobe Bryant, he was good in basketball, and subhanAllah, their muhabbat and their ishq and their love is unparalleled and unmatched. I didn't even know how much kids loved him until his passing, and then some kids came and were crying the other night and this and that, and I said, you didn't even cry on 27th of Ramadan. What happened here? No, but the whole night since I was a kid, all I did was I watched him. I watched Kobe Bryant play like this and play like that, and I wanted to shoot like him, and I wanted to do like that. I remember when the other Paul Walker died too, I had friends, everyone was crying. I was like, why are you crying? I used to drive like him. And now because of that, he used to drive very fast and but still, that's where I got the whole experience from. And I saw the exact same thing happen here. And these are kamalat, these are one isolated kamalat that we see of an individual. But when we look at the life of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, there is a biographer. Your city over here is called Irving. This Irving city is named after a person called Washington Irving. He was the same individual who wrote the famous children's book, The Legend of Sleepy Hollow. He also wrote another very interesting book. He was a diplomat to Islamic Spain, or Islamic Spain was diminished by then, but he was a diplomat in Europe, and he stayed in Al-Hamra, the famous palace of Islamic Spain. And he remained there, and he also wrote a biography on Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Over a 600-page biography on Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And then there he describes the Prophet. He has a whole section on the Shama'il of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It's in English. It's written very well. He's not a Muslim, didn't accept Islam, but he wrote an entire 600-page or more biography on Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Maybe because of that one action, Allah prospered that area and brought Iman in that area for that town that named it after him. Allah knows best. Allah knows. The point is, in his entirety of his writing, he goes on and he has a chapter to discuss that whether the Prophet of Allah was really a prophet or not, or what was going on in his mind, what was the motivation of Muhammad Rasulullah. You and I, we have a motivation. We're either doing it for our family, we're either doing it for wealth, or we're either doing it for fame. We have a certain motive in our careers. Right? If I'm working in the corporate world, I want to rise to a rank because I want to make more money, or I want more recognition. I want people to understand how high of my pedestal I am. But the Prophet of Allah ﷺ is offered. He's married to Khadija radiallahu anha, the wealthiest woman in the entire of Makkah, or one of the wealthiest. So it wasn't wealth as a motivator. Beauty. He was married at the age of 40. Khadija radiallahu anha was more beautiful than our 20, 22, 1-year-olds. At the age of 40, Khadija radiallahu anha was so beautiful that every person in Makkah wanted her. And he had her. That wasn't it. Was it honor and respect that the Prophet wanted? He was the child of the chieftains. He was from the elite of the elite. He would be the next one occupying the seat. What was the man's motive? He went from being unlettered, no education, in terms of he wasn't illiterate. Right? Unlettered meaning? He'd read and write. He didn't know how to read and write well. Went from no political practice, didn't go to school to study political science. He didn't go anywhere to understand statesmanship. Didn't study psychology to understand people. The man literally was in the middle of a desert. Ek nuskha-e keemiya laya. He brought one message. And that message became like wildfire and absorbed. No individual, no prophet saw the success of their message the way Rasulullah saw it in their own life. I was reading an interview of this professor in Princeton. He's a professor of, he's a specialist on the Prophet. That's his thing. And one of the facts that his mind couldn't capture was that though Isa alayhi salam was amongst a remarkable prophet, but in his own lifestyle, it didn't really gain traction. Christianity didn't gain traction till 300 years after. Musa alayhi salam, Allah yarham, crosses the Red Sea, Pharaoh's army gets destroyed. When he arrives on the other side, can we get an idol that's made of gold? Can we get an idol as well, like these people's idol? Not idol of gold, but can we get an idol as well? Allah just did a mu'jiza and saved you. They're getting food from the heavens. No. You don't want to. لَن نَصْبِرَ عَلَىٰ طَعَامٍ وَاحِدٍ فَادْعُ لَنَا رَبَّكَ. No, we cannot eat this. We can't have biryani every day. We want dal. They literally asked عَدَتِهَا وَبَطَّلِهَا. They asked for dal. So next time you have dal at home, now you know who to blame. But despite every single thing that happened, what's going on? There's a level of no appreciation. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in his last 2 years, 2-3 years, the entire Jazeera was Muslim. You know, his Hajj group, when we make Hajj group, we have 50 people, 100, 200. The Prophet's Hajj group had over 140,000 people inside it. The man just said, I'm going. And thousands and thousands just poured. Why? Was because the man was talented beyond talent. Anything you wanted to learn or see, and he would build talent in people who had no talent. One thing is to be talented yourself. To do it yourself is to be good. But to be able to delegate it to be great. He had individuals who were all Bedouins, and then he created Abu Bakr out of them, and Umar's and Uthman's and Ali's out of them. He created Abdullah bin Mas'ud out of them, Abdullah bin Abbas's out of them. He created scholars after people who had no formal education, and he turned into military leaders, into individuals who had not fought a war until that time. But the Prophet of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was a remarkable individual. My time is done. So I will just say the other two, and if Allah gives us life, I will go into them in detail. Number one, Jamal, you love someone for their beauty, the Prophet possessed it. Mal, for their wealth, the Prophet possessed it. Nay, he gave it away. Number three, Nawal, when someone is kind and someone someone does good for you, you automatically love them. The Prophet is the one who has taught us the line and the link towards Jannah. Number four, when a person has kamal, when they have a talent, you begin to learn, you begin to appreciate them and love them. The Prophet of Allah not only had talent, but he put talent in those who had no talent. Number five, kawnihi kal walid wa nahnu kal iyal, that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was like a fatherly figure to us. He was an individual. When someone is a coach or someone is a mentor, you automatically begin to love them, appreciate them, and the Prophet was a coach of life to us. So you have Jamal, you have Kamal, you have Mal, you have Nawal, you have Kawnihi kal walid wa nahnu kal iyal. And number six is the most powerful one of them all, Hubbe la zawal. When someone loves you unwaveringly, you automatically begin to love them as well. And the Prophet's love for his ummah, we know what the love of the Prophet of Allah was for his ummah. Which part of his life did he not worry about his ummah? In his final Hajj, he is slaughtering, the narration is in Abu Dawood, he slaughtered 63 camels, and at the end of it, he says, Ya Allah, give this to reward to my ummah, the one that has passed and the one that is to come. We all want to see the Prophet, but in one hadith he said, I want to see my ikhwan. And they said, Alasna ikhwanik ya Rasulullah, are we not your brothers? You want to see the Prophet? The Prophet saying, I want to see you. He said, no, you're my Sahaba. But my brothers are the ones who are going to come after, and who haven't seen me, but they believe in me. May Allah give us all love of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Barakallahu lana wa lakum fi al-Qur'an al-azim wa nafa'ana wa iyyakum bil ayati wa dhikril hakim. Astaghfirullah li wa lakum bi sa'il muslimin fastaghfiruhu innahu huwal ghafurur rahim. الحمد لله علي الأجل الواحد الفرد القديم الأول، فأنت مليك الناس ربا فاقبل، ثم الصلاة على النبي الأفضل. فإني أولا أبدأ بأمر قد بدأ الله تعالى بنفسه، ثم ثنى ملائكته المقربين وثلثنا به. قال بعد: أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل على محمد بعدد من صلى وصام، وصل على محمد بعدد من قعد وقام، وصل على جميع الأصحاب علينا معهم رضوان الله تعالى عليهم أجمعين. اللهم انصر الإسلام والمسلمين، اللهم أصلح أحوال المسلمين في كل مكان، اللهم اشف مرضانا ومرضى المسلمين، اللهم حبب إلينا الإيمان وزينه في قلوبنا، وكره إلينا الكفر والفسوق والعصيان، واجعلنا من الراشدين. اللهم احفظ المسجد الأقصى، اللهم احفظ المسجد الأقصى، اللهم احفظ المسجد الأقصى. إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون. أقم الصلاة.
الله أكبر الله أكبر، أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله، أشهد أن محمد رسول الله.